This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight.
This is a special broadcast of the world's first and only LGBTQ+ daily evening television news, broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite social platform. It's time to queer up the news. This is the first ever LGBTQ+ news show broadcasting from Alpine, Europe. Our nonprofit 501c3 travel club has partnered with Fort Lauderdale's Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church to travel to where the hills are alive with the sound of music in Alpine, Europe. Nearly 60 people from LGBTQ+ America have traveled with our news show to Austria, Germany, Italy, Switzerland, and Liechtenstein. Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR but designed for the LGBTQ+ community. Our mission is to support the 11 pillars of our LGBTQ+ community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of our Black community: Latino, lesbians, and queer women, trans, queer culture students, youth, seniors, HIV/AIDS, healthcare, business, social justice, and faith. Help us support our community. Queer News Tonight is literally out of the closet and into the headlines. This evening, we bring you the news of and a perspective representing the LGBTQ+ community. Our community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community across the world is vast. And here are the bullet points of the queer news for today, Thursday, September 19th, 2024.
Well, good evening and welcome to Queer News Tonight. It is Thursday, September 19th, 2024, and we're coming to you live from St. Gallen, Switzerland. I'm your anchor, Al Ferguson, and of course, anchor FayWhat.
What? And I am all like souped up on Swiss chocolate, so don't mind me. Did you know there's like a caffeine component to it? I had no idea.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Exciting. No drugs, chocolate. That's
no alcohol, no nothing, just chocolate.
The in-sobriety chocolate, this solves all
Folks,
problems.
I'm going to bring you a bunch back.
We are all excited. As you know, Queer News Tonight is doing this historic broadcast all over the Alpine region. We are here in Central Europe. We're staying in Seefeld, Austria, to celebrate Munich Oktoberfest, and especially gay Oktoberfest. And you're going to see a lot of that over the coming number of broadcasts. We're here in Central Europe for 2 weeks. So let's get right to it this evening, and let's queer up the world. Queer News Tonight is in St. Gallen, Switzerland, and Oktoberfest. A lot for the LGBTQ community to learn about Switzerland. We know a lot about Switzerland. There's probably a lot of things we don't know. Your fun fact of Switzerland,
oh my God, I have so many fun facts. Okay, so how about this? They have a huge love for cheese. I know you knew that, all right? Yes. They love cheese, they love chocolate, right? Precision time is everything. So, back home, right, Latin people time, LPT, right, LPT time, where, you get a time and then you get there 15 minutes late. It is unheard of here. It is thought of as rude if you get somewhere on time. I know, stop looking at me like that. I know, I'm not Swiss. I'm not moving here. It is what it is, all right? Yodeling is a unique form of singing and is a proud part of Swiss culture. Do you know how to do it?
Could you show me how to do it?
Yodeling.
That was actually really fun. I'm totally impressed.
Oh my God, isn't that awesome?
It's funny. We're in Switzerland. Let me give you a little bit of description about where we are. Mm-hmm. Switzerland is about the size, for all of us in America, about the size of the Florida Panhandle.
Okay.
That's all. That's how small Switzerland is. Europe the continent is quite large, about the same size of the United States, but Switzerland is a very small portion of that. Nearly 8 million people live here in Switzerland, and that is actually quite amazing because when you're here in Switzerland, about 25% of the country is mountainous Alps that you can't live on.
Yes.
And so they're living in about 75% of all of the space with over 8 million people.
Wow.
So even though it's very, very small, think about it. Florida is 4 times the size of Switzerland, and they have 8 million people. We have 20. So it's a very crowded country.
It is. And for those 8 million people to be so neutral about everything, Al, is, you know, that's like the big joke of everything, right? Okay, I am in Switzerland. I'm staying out of everything, right? And that is basically what Switzerland does, right?
Absolutely.
Their neutrality between 8 million people is superb. They try to stay out of a lot of political stuff, which probably is also why they waited so long for LGBTQ gay marriage and stuff like that, right?
That's right. Switzerland, as Faye says, is not a part of the European Union. We're using euros, the currency, all over the Alpine region, except here in Switzerland. Swiss franc is the currency because Switzerland is not a member of the European Union. They're not a member of NATO, and they're the principal leader in Europe of being neutral. It's very funny. We have talked a lot about the sound of music, and we're staying at the mountain. And in fact, we are right at the base of the mountain that Julie Andrews ran over in the opening of the film.
Yes, and twirled and twirled.
Well, I'm sure sometime on this trip we're going to get the FayWhat experience of being Julie Andrews on that mountain.
For sure.
But it's interesting, if you watched that movie, at the end of the movie, they snuck out of the Salzburg Music Festival in the middle of the performance and then went over the mountain to Switzerland to get independence. Well, Salzburg is 5 hours to the east, so they really didn't go over to Switzerland, but they were going to Switzerland because even in the beginnings of World War II, Switzerland was independent. So it's a neutral country.
You know something else funny about Switzerland? They have the lowest obesity rates in all of Europe.
Well, you have to walk here.
Yes.
One of the interesting things about Switzerland is the status of gay rights. This country is a conservative country, but they're very, very embracing of LGBT rights in Switzerland. But interestingly enough, while Germany got gay marriage in 2017, Austria in 2019, Liechtenstein just this year in the spring, still we don't have gay marriage in Switzerland. And it's not because of churches and evangelical being anti-LGBT. It's because they view marriage as a family unit, and as a result, they haven't come to grips with the idea of having same-sex marriage. But last year, for the first time in history, Switzerland, the vast majority, more than 50% ever, I should say, in the first time ever, of the Swiss say that, yes, gay people should be allowed to marry in Switzerland. So what that means is they're moving in that direction. But this is a very welcoming place. Zurich is one of the top gay destinations in all of Europe. More than 25 bars.
Wow. That's more than lesbian bars in all of the U.S.
Yeah, that's right.
Making a point.
Exactly. And you mentioned the thing about yodeling. Also, one of the other famous stereotypes here is all of the cows with bells on them. As we were coming today to St. Gallen, do you know why the cows have bells on them?
I actually do, because I was listening to our tour guide there. I was not sleeping like you thought I was. You see, it's all about history taking on this trip as well. So basically, when it snows, so they could hear the cows, right? When they need to wrangle them up, they can't see them, but they'll be able to hear them.
That's right.
I bought one of those bells. I'm going to put it on my wife.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
That's a very good joke, and I can't wait to tell Teresa that she's been called a cow.
Wow.
Wow.
And speaking of cows, you know that they have like really fun festivals here in Switzerland, and one of them is just all about cows and all about celebrating cows and all that they give and receive here in Switzerland.
Yeah.
We should have a festival like that in Wilton.
Well, as we said, we're coming from St. Gallen. It's a very interesting place for LGBT to visit all over Switzerland. Let's continue by queering up politics. 74% of LGBTQ Americans support Kamala Harris, according to the HRC. A new poll has been done by the HRC that shows that 74% of all LGBT Americans support Kamala Harris and the governor from Minnesota.
Walks.
Yes, thank you. And what's interesting about this new report for the HRC is perhaps we would have thought the number would be much, much higher than 74%, but it is not. And in fact, it's basically the same number of LGBT support in the 2020 election of supporting Joe Biden over Donald Trump. So even with all of the enthusiasm that we're watching, it really hasn't changed. What do you think about this new report from the HRC?
I have to be completely, first of all, thank you so much, HRC, for spotlighting something like this. We need to see the numbers, right? But second of all, the reality is, Al, that those 26% are waiting to hear something else from Kamala, right? Just like in everyday life, women, we have to work harder. And Kamala has to show all her cards to everybody. So those 26%, I've heard LGBTQ plus people say, I need more, I need to hear more. If she was a man, would you still need to hear more? I'm not sure.
That's interesting.
You know, but from my seat, that's what it looks like.
Yeah. Do you think from the observation about women's issues in this campaign, in this historic campaign of first Black woman, first Southeast Asian woman, etc., do you think the percentage of LGBT support for Kamala Harris is going to rise in the coming weeks? Or
I
do
sure
you think
hope so.
where we're at?
I sure hope so. I still have hope. I mean, if anything we've learned from Kamala is the invigoration of our community, right? The hope of our community, the villages coming out with all these golf carts in support of Walz and Harris. So, I mean, I have hope for that. I hope that will rise a little bit, but we have cynical LGBTQ plus people. We have a lot of white cisgendered men that still need something else to be proven for them to feel that a woman can be leader of the U.S.
Yeah, speaking of making that note about a more cisgendered white viewpoint, let's talk about the log cabin Republicans here a moment.
Okay.
The log cabin Republicans continue to report that they are seeing record embracement of the conservative cause inside our LGBTQ community. And there seems to be strength to this observation of what they're talking about. The president of the Log Cabin Republicans has said that they have had in 2024 the best campaign year in fundraising efforts in raising money ever in the history of the Log Cabin Republicans. A big event was held in Nashville recently. We reported on it at Queer News Tonight. A big event was held at Mar-a-Lago, where the First Lady, former First Lady, participated. But in general, the Log Cabin Republicans are saying, wait, just because we're gay, don't forget that there's a conservative movement in our community. And this HRC poll seems to prove that that's true. Yeah. Whether it's 18, 20, 25%, whatever that might be, it seems that it's
very high. It's still very high, though, Al. Yeah. I mean, come on, 26%. Do your research. Know what you're doing. Vote. Something about voting also that I was thinking about, Al, that, you know, that in Switzerland, they still have a canton, I want to say it's Schaffhausen or something like that, that if you don't vote, you get fined.
You pay.
You have to pay, all right?
They do that in Australia.
But how awesome is that when we're constantly screaming on Queer News Tonight, please vote, please vote, please vote. And we're in a country right now that if you don't return your ballot, even if you return it empty, right, you have to return it or get a fine.
No, that's very interesting. I'm sitting here thinking about that observation. I did not know that. By the way, a canton in Switzerland is like a state, that they do that here in Switzerland. And it's interesting to me because I was thinking about what we would do if we made voting mandatory in Miami-Dade County. I'm not exactly sure that.
And the 4 people have come to vote today. You know, no. Yeah, everybody would leave.
Well, the HRC's report indicates that currently 74% of our community are supporting Kamala Harris, and 26% have not made a decision, or they're supporting Donald Trump. We'll keep watching and continue to report on the politics in our community closely. Any final thoughts? We're here in St. Gallen, Switzerland. Your experience in the Alpine. We have this Colombian North Miami girl via New Jersey.
Yes.
This is kind of a different world for you.
It really is a different world, but it's so beautiful. The Alps, the sky, the air, the water. I've been drinking water from the tap.
Tap water.
Crazy is that?
And it tastes delicious.
It tastes delicious. The coffee is incredible. I don't like chocolates, folks. I'm just that weird person. The chocolate here tastes incredible.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. Loving it. And my hair looks flawless.
Yes.
Right?
And one last thing before we go. Watch us every day. We're doing this reporting for Queer News Tonight all over the region. You're going to see many, many interesting stories. Let me start a little rumor, which is true. I think it's true, but it's a rumor until you verify it. I hear that you have come to Europe without any dresses. Is that true?
Not even one.
Not one dress.
Just the dreidel or whatever that I have to wear to Oktoberfest. But that's it. That's the only one.
Yeah, so that's a traditional costume.
Yes.
So it's not really a dress.
Yes.
And I've traveled with you in Egypt.
Yes,
we
you
were at
have.
the Great Pyramid in Ephesus and the top of the Acropolis in Athens. Is it true? Somebody told me, they whispered in my ear, Faye doesn't have any high heels with her.
Not even one. Not even an espadrille, folks at home, okay? I know you don't know what that is. That's just another type of heel. Don't worry. But not even one. Look at, I'm wearing boots. I have like the lesbian attire. Lesbians, look at me. You'd be proud, right?
Yeah, you're burning
like a
socks.
lesbian.
You're going to whip them
Like
up
a lesbian
tomorrow.
skier.
That's funny.
Because it's true.
It only took this beautiful part of the world
to butch me up.
To make Faye.
Say it, to butch me up.
To butch Faye up.
Thank you.
Well, that is today's Queer News tonight. We invite you to continue to join us every night as we're broadcasting from Alpine Europe and Munich's Oktoberfest. I'm your anchor, Al Ferguson, and anchor
FayWhat?
And we'll see you tomorrow.
Yodeloo.
That is today's news for the LGBTQ plus community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ plus evening news show. If our community is important to you, share this video on your favorite social media. If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world. Tune in daily on this historic queer news broadcast from Alpine Europe. We will be broadcasting across Austria, Germany, Italy, Switzerland, and Liechtenstein. No queer news show has ever been done like this ever before, and that is exactly what Queer News Tonight is all about. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. to our LGBTQ+ world. We wish you good night.